This is the Daily Wrestling News for February 1st, 2021. My name is Ryan Joy, and I'm coming to you live from Minutes to Bell Time Studios on the beautiful Treasure Coast of the Sunshine State. And I am joined today by Nelio Cuomo Costa from Coastal Championship Wrestling. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I feel good. I feel unmuted. I feel all right. How are you, man?
You know, it's tricky because when I play the intro videos, it automatically mutes us, and then you want to try to mute yourself during that stuff. But
exactly.
Everything's great. Everything's great. I have what I need to get through the day. Do you have what you need?
Yep, I have rubbing alcohol that I'll be drinking throughout this until I pass out. That's what I need today.
That'll wake you up for sure.
That'll wake me up. That's a quick wake up call to the hospital, to my alcoholism.
All right. Well, so we have a bunch of things to get into today. Of course, Royal Rumble was last night, but we're here to talk about Coastal Championship Wrestling today. You're coming off of a bunch of really good shows. You had New Year's Revolution. You had 2 shows at Homecoming. You got a whole bunch more coming up in the next month or so.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk through. I want to start with the shows that we just had. Like I mentioned, the 3 great shows. There's new tag team champions with the South American Alliance.
Yes.
On the Colognes, featuring Carlito, who was on the Rumble last night.
Yeah, we had 2 former tag team champions at the Rumble. Hurricane, former CCW tag team champion. Obviously, Carlito up until 2 weeks ago, CCW tag team champion. And then we had Santana Garrett in the CCW in the Women's Rumble, who was a former CCW Women's champion. So a lot of CCW last night. And you're going to see Carlito back in CCW really soon. But you saw him last night, and he was the big hit of the Rumble. So hopefully they don't sign him.
Yeah, exactly. That was a thing last year with MVP. He came in for it seemed like a one-shot deal, and all of a sudden he's the biggest thing on.
All of a sudden, he's one of the best guys that they have there, and MVP trained at the CCW training facility. Antonio Banks, former CCW champion, and it's funny because we had some dates booked for him this year and last year, end of last year. Royal Rumble screwed it up, man. Screwed it up completely because now he is fully contracted by the WWE. He's all in now as a talent, and then probably eventually as a producer. So hopefully the same thing happens to Carlito. To be honest, you want guys like that in the system. The Carlito, his father's Carlos Colon. He's doing great things in WWC, so he can, I'm sure, bring a lot to the table for WWE as well.
It was funny when I saw Carlito at the CCW show 2 weeks ago. I made the joke, because I got a good picture of him. And I'm like, oh man, this guy spit on me. I don't understand why, but if people haven't seen him since he was last in WWE, that boy's put on some pounds. He is and it's muscle. It's not.
Yeah, he is jacked. He is jacked. And he looks great. He looks way better than he did 20 years ago, or 18 years ago, some crazy number like that he was, Mr. Caribbean cool, skinny Puerto Rican kid. Now he looks great. He's easily 270, 260, but he's jacked. It's good.
Exactly. So from your point of view, these 3 shows, New Year's Revolution, Homecoming, what are some of the key successes you think from those shows?
Man, all of it was successful. I'm so glad that you came, number one, to them, but all of them were incredibly successful in different ways. New Year's Revolution is, we're working really hard to take over the Treasure Coast and really be the wrestling company to watch there. And we went there, and a lot of the guys there, a lot of the fans there, they knew our storylines. They're watching live wrestling. The same people who were there last time, they're people who are now driving down to Fort Lauderdale. So it's like we're already building this area. So that was a huge success in that way. Obviously, the wrestling was great. The venue was great. We're back at the West Lucy Elks Lodge on March 19th, the day before our homecoming show. The other one, which was a little bit bigger, but point being, the show was great. And then homecoming, to open up the new CCW training facility, the new CCW arena, with 2 knockout shows. Sebastian Cage from New York, Romeo, who started training at the CCW training facility in 2004 when it was the main event, Body Slam University was what it was called. And he was the guy, and he's been gone for 11 years. So it was a true homecoming for Romeo to come back. And he is jacked too. He did a Carlito because he was a small high flyer in 2004 when I first met him, 2005. And then now, looking at him, he's he's jacked. He's huge. He's all muscle as well. Santos with an amazing match. And then, of course, the Colognes versus the South American Alliance is a very memorable match. The Colognes are using that footage in WWC. So that's kind of the first step of a partner. WWC in Puerto Rico, and thank you to Eddie Colon and Carlito Colon and Orlando Colon for being so amazing and being such great guys. But the point being is, I felt like we took 4 giant steps in where we want to go. So I thought they were just wonderful. And then you see so many new shows coming up. It's not going to stop. It's going to be constant.
Yeah. I mentioned to you when we last spoke, I was bringing my in-laws. My father-in-law didn't feel well the day of the show, so he didn't come, but my mother-in-law did. And she was sitting next to me the entire New Year's Revolution show. And she was laughing and smiling, having a great time. Hadn't watched wrestling probably in years, but she was even admiring some of the fans. There was another woman, maybe 6-8 feet from us, who had, I want to say, no shortage of like 50 signs, and all the different talents and stuff.
We love you, Jody. She's probably watching right now. She's great.
It wasn't Jody.
Oh no! Sorry, Jody. Sorry for giving you the. Wow. Yeah. People. I love it. I love when people bring signs. It's like back from the Attitude Era, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone just has a phone now, so they don't need a sign. But I love the signs.
Yeah, the signs are great. And then at Homecoming, the thing I noticed is there really was. A lot of people say, "Oh, there's something for everybody." I really felt like there was on that show. There was a little bit of. You had a hardcore match, you had traditional singles, traditional tags, you had even intergender mixed tag, battle royal, high flying with Cage and Austin, as you mentioned before. We have a run-in. We have a run-in.
A little run-in. We have my little daughter. She heard you talking about the Homecoming show, and she's like, I want to talk about it. She's like, there was a women's match.
Future champion right here.
Future world champion. She doesn't jive. She's going over.
yeah. Marina Tucker, watch out.
Exactly. Marina, this is the call out right here. See, I'm gonna start calling her Venetia. It's a little.
There you go.
Yellow. It's coming for you. She just wants.
Yeah. But I did think that there was something for everybody on those shows, and that gets thrown around a lot. But with everything we just mentioned, I think there really was.
What I forgot to mention, a huge match was Matthew Justice, who just competed in the GCW 24-hour show. He was literally given like the 2:30 time spot because he's such a draw that people actually would watch it at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. He is so good. He is so cool. He's so big, and he'll be at the Nashville show. And he's all in for CCW. He wants, not just Alex Ocean. He was telling me he wants Santos. He wants some of the wrestlers that he saw, and he wants a match with Romeo. And doesn't have to be a hardcore match. Sometimes you pigeonhole these guys like
sure.
Alex Ocean's a deathmatch guy. Well, Matt Justice is in the mold of those ECW classics like RVD and Sabu, right? So you think, you want to see him smash people in the head with a chair, but you know what? I want to see Matt Justice wrestle Santos one-on-one in a regular match. Sure. That's what I want to see. So he's all in for that stuff too, which got me excited, because some guys come in and they want to just do their thing and they don't want to expand. And it sounds like he's down to do whatever, which is great.
Yeah, that's
nice to see Matt Justice back too,
Perfect. It's nice when you have somebody come in and they see what else you're doing and they're like, I want to compete with that guy. I want to be in there with them. So.
Yeah, so many wrestlers, they come in and they chill in the locker room and they wait for their match. They go over their match and their match is done. And then they wait for the, paycheck at the end of the night. Yeah. And then they just head out and they say, thank you, whatever. But he was all in. He's down. He sees what we're doing. He loves he's an ECW guy like me. He's like big time ECW guy. So he loved that it's the arena vibe. He loved Fonzie. Obviously, Fonzie's his manager in AIW and GCW, so he knows Fonzie. But he's like Fonzie fits here so well. You know what I mean? So I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about some of your upcoming shows, but you do have quite a slate coming, including the one this weekend at the Bash at the Brew.
Is it already this Saturday? Bash at the Brew? It's insane.
I think so.
I have an exclusive announcement about Bash at the Brew. So buy your tickets on the 6th. This is this Saturday in Hialeah. It's a really awesome place for high-end brewery. And, everyone who goes there is like, wow, like it's so high-end. How can you put a wrestling ring in here? How can you like change the aesthetic? And They don't realize that there's a 25,000 square foot brewery because they actually have brewery tanks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you will be amidst beer, and it's a very cool industrial area. It's really badass, and that's on Saturday in Hialeah. And my announcement is we've made an agreement to make that a monthly show.
Oh, no kidding.
So Bash at the Brew Part 2, Electric Boogaloo, March 6th. Part of 305 weekend. It's really going to be 306 of the 305 weekend. So it's 305 weekend, which is a big weekend down there. So he said, you guys got to come in for that. So we're going to be in there for that. And then we will announce in April, May, and June dates as well for Bash at the Brew Part 3 and 4, So that's going to be awesome because that's like a beachhead down there in Miami. We love Miami. We love running in Miami. We ran the Opalaka flea market for so long, on spot shows, monthly shows. Obviously Koyo Taco with Blue Demon. We've done a lot of stuff in Miami. But I think it's going to be great to have a monthly show that you can depend on, to see these guys from CCW down in Miami as well. And the same thing that we're working on in the Treasure Coast, we're working on Miami as well. A little bit of a rotation, a little bit of an old school territory feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the I don't know, the partnership or whatever you guys have been doing down there to produce like the little commercials and things have been really fun to watch on YouTube or whatever too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's funny too is like, the guys over there at Unbranded and a guy by the name of Burger Beast and
those are great names.
They all love professional wrestlings. When they give us carte blanche and free beer to run around their brewery and advertise it and help, hopefully, to help during this time. Breweries are being hit really hard because of COVID-19. There's a lot of issues that occur. People just don't want to go out, and one of the things is people come out to our shows. That's 100%. So if there's anything that you want to call CCW, whatever you want to call it, you definitely need to call it a draw because we always put 100 people at least, in the place. So it helps for them too, because they can draw the people there who are going to buy a lot of beer. Our CCW fans, they like to drink, if you will call a CCW fan anything, it's definitely an eater and a drinker. So we're excited about that. They're excited about that. So that'll be a monthly show now, which is going to be great. It also, like on our end, it gives a situation like, we have our huge shows, like we have the anniversary show coming up, and we have some, some other shows. But if you look at shows at like the Treasure Coast, sometimes those are the most fun shows. Some of those are the best shows. You don't have to go to see Sabu, you don't see Sandman, but you see Cha Cha Charlie, you see, South American Alliance, you see these guys that get a little bit more time and a little bit more freedom to do what we want,
Right. Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of memorable moments from that New Year's Revolution show. To your point, like the guys are just Cha Cha Charlie and Controversial Link. They're in the back, wrestling. They both get a beer, they have a drink, and then they hit each other over the head with it.
Exactly, it was awesome. One of those iconic moments, like that Stone Cold moment on the My Way promo, the beer, and then they just start slamming each other, and it was awesome. They did that on their own. I didn't know anything about that. That was awesome though. Yeah. When I saw it, I was like, well, that works. That's going to be on a bunch of highlight tapes going forward. So
absolutely. So I back to Bash at the Brew. You mentioned it's monthly now. I'm concerned about their profit, and everything because Vinicius is there drinking the whole time.
He's just drinking kegs after kegs. He's living there at the brewery right now. He's pretty cold, and he sleeps in the cooler because he's trying to counteract how warm his body gets when he drinks the beer. It's a crazy thing, but yeah, they're gonna hopefully they have a bunch of like batches that don't make the grade because he could just drink those. I know he doesn't care how the beer actually tastes, so hopefully that's
So those are some fun vignettes that you can go check out too.
Yeah, you can go check that out on the YouTube, and obviously more coming because when we find a venue like that, we want to do their best to make them successful too. So it really is a partnership, and that goes to any of the sponsors, like with the granite companies that sponsor us, and obviously with the Paradox Pod that are coming on as sponsors now. But like the granite company, I would love to go to there and have like a granite yard match and smash somebody over the head with a piece of granite and stuff like that. Now I don't know how that would look for them, but for a beer company, I think you can be a little bit more fun,
Absolutely.
So we try to help out our sponsors because without sponsors, we wouldn't be able to bring in some wrestlers, and we wouldn't be able to actually make money on this thing. Like it would be, you could sell as many tickets as you want, but sometimes you need a sponsor. You need some of these things to happen.
Now, I think at that show, do you also have Cha-Cha Charlie versus Ariel Levy as well?
Yeah, Ariel Levy and Cha-Cha Charlie will be the main event that day. That's their first ever singles match together. They have faced off in tag situations. So you have Cha-Cha Charlie, who's the John Cena of CCW, and then of course you have Ariel, who's coming in as this big star. I guess this is a good place to announce it as well. The South American Alliance is contractually obligated to defend their CCW tag team championships that day as well. Ariel being, one of the South American Alliance. So Bill Alfonso has petitioned the executive committee that because the South American Alliance because Ariel will have 2 matches, he's petitioned Cha-Cha Charlie to also have a second match with an opponent that same night, just to make sure that the main event is equal and fair. So you're going to see Cha-Cha Charlie and an opponent to be named later, but you'll also see the South American Alliance defending their tag team championship. So, you're going to see a lot of Cha-Cha and you're going to see a lot of Ariel that night, but I think it's going to be to the fans' benefit. I think it's going to be a great show. And a lot of people in Chile, like every time I go online, people are asking me, is this going to be on Fight TV? Is this going to be on IWTV? Is this going to be, how can they buy this product? And I said, look, go for free right now and subscribe to the YouTube Alive Wrestling. But in the future, man, we can't give away matches like this without pay-per-view, because there are, 500,000 people in Chile who are wanting to watch our stuff, who are watching our stuff. But this is going to be a huge match. So you have an opportunity to see something that a lot of people want to see. So come out, Bash the Brew.
Very good. Yeah. And then, also 2 weeks later, now you're in Tennessee, which I think is another minor territory for you now too, right?
Yeah. We're running 6 times a year in Nashville. Helios Granite has been great. Like, it's a huge, we can safely put about 800 people in there. We put about 700 last time during the height of a pandemic, which is insane. We can safely put a good amount of people in there. So yeah, we're going to run it 5-6 times a year in Music City and Nashville. Upcoming is Brian Cage. Brian Cage is going to be wrestling Casey Navarro, who is right about to be signed by All Elite Wrestling or Impact Wrestling. Like, he's going to get a contract ASAP. So we want to see this match on our company before it goes somewhere else, All Elite Wrestling probably. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. You also have some great matches there as well. You have Matthew Justice is going to be in the building. You have Chase Stevens now. Chase Stevens, who is awesome, who is an amazing wrestler and also just an amazing guy. So, we wanted to make sure that we got a guy like Chase Stevens so that the after party is the place to be in Nashville as well, not just the show itself. So you get to watch Chase Stevens, you get to watch some of the best wrestlers in Nashville. And then of course you get to watch Brian Cage versus Casey Navarro. Santos versus a pretty good opponent as well. We have a lot of good stuff happening in Nashville, and the Brian Cage seminar for trained pro wrestlers, any experience level, but as long as you're training to be a pro wrestler, it's an awesome seminar that he's doing before the show, and it's $30, so that's already full. It's like, it's not full, but there's a ton of wrestlers already coming into that. So, that's something too, like expect, like, for instance, I'm going to make some talent announcements today for the anniversary show, but expect now full seminar to be there. And I'm thinking of opening that seminar up to non-wrestlers as well for the Q&A section, and then for the wrestlers to come in and work with a guy like Brian Cage or a guy like, Super Crazy or a guy like Conan. So that's something that we're working on as well. But yeah, to go back to Nashville, I'm so excited. Christy Janes is so good. Look, I'm Brazilian. I don't know if I'm killing kayfabe here. I'm Brazilian as well. But Christy Janes, she's Brazilian. She was somebody that has always been a target for us. I know that All Elite Wrestling has huge interest in her. I know that WWE has huge interest in her, but I want her to wrestle as many matches in CCW before she goes and does that. So she'll be facing Marina Tucker, who is on fire lately. She's so good. Chrissy James and Marina Tucker in Nashville is going to be awesome. Brian Cage, Casey Navarro, man, and then Chase Stevens versus somebody, maybe Santos. I think Chase Stevens deserves a title shot. Who knows? Title for the NAWA. Who knows?
Right.
Let's have it. But we'll see. That match is not official, obviously. But you're going to see some cool matches.
I got a question coming in here. Is Brian Cage defending the FTW title at the show? Will CCW recognize what Tony Khan?
Love it, Travis. Love it. I love it, Travis. Yeah, I would love because little known fact, Fonzie is disputing the legitimacy of Tony Khan's and Taz's FTW title. And reason being is because Fonzie swears it was his idea and that he owns 50% of the FTW title. He wanted to put the FTW title on Vinicius, but out of respect for Taz, he didn't. And then Taz immediately, I mean, within 3 weeks of the entire like episode of Fonzie reaching out, he puts the FTW title on Brian Cage. I think Brian Cage and Vinicius have a little thing that they should probably fight out in regards to the FTW title. But I do the few times that I've met Taz in my life, I do know that he is a tough dude. So I think maybe Taz is telling Tony Khan, hey, I'm the only one who should be talking about the FTW title. I'm the only one allowed. I have a feeling those words are being spoken to Tony Khan. So I think he gave him a belt to wear that I think even Tony Khan doesn't have the power to do a title defense, Travis. So I would say don't blame Tony Khan. Blame the man in orange and black, if you know what I mean, That
was a pretty great Taz impression.
Like, what are you gonna do? What? I think my daughter heard me talking like Taz. She freaked out for a second. Like,
oh yeah, no, I can understand.
But hey, just like Taz, I'm gonna have my daughter at ringside pretty soon. Even when she's not trained or anything. Well, I was gonna have her hang out.
I want to talk about that Jake St. Patrick match.
Yeah, you know what, Hook? You know what? You got a whole company coming for you. Hook. Because you don't do that to our boy Jake St. Patrick. Jake St. Patrick, he is a former trainer at the CCW training facility. He's one of the best wrestlers in America. So finally, he gets his opportunity to fight the powerhouse Hobbs. Look, Jake St. Patrick has more talent in his pinky than Hobbs has in his entire body, his entire 340-pound body. So I can't believe someone like Hook is attacking Jake St. Patrick and costing him the title. Come on, Hook. Come on, Taz.
Yeah. That was tough. Poor Jake. He's out there. He's got Taz on commentary, Hook on the outside, and this huge guy in the middle of the ring.
Exactly. No, the deck was stacked against Jake St. Patrick. He did a great job. He's a great worker. Just the way that he sells his facials, his whatever, and I have it on good authority. Oh, obviously he'll be on Tuesday, wrestling number 10, which, hopefully we'll see Jake St. Patrick's first win in All Elite Wrestling. But I know I have from good authority that this won't be Jake's last time wrestling for All Elite Wrestling, which is great. Which is great because, you want everyone from like I said before, you want everyone from CCW to get those contracts, and this is just the beginning of that process, and obviously Ariel will be back in All Elite Wrestling as well. And I know that some of our guys, also have some stuff coming up with WWE and with All Elite Wrestling. So you'll be seeing more CCW talent on major programming, and that's going to be a great thing. But that being said, you'll also be able to see Jake in Nashville, and you'll see Jake in just because he's wrestling Hobbs doesn't mean he can't wrestle Bugs Moran. You know what I mean?
Yeah, very good.
And it's a better match when he wrestles Bugs Moran.
Yeah. Well, so I was going to ask that. When one of these guys, Jake or whoever, goes into a AEW Dark or whatever, it seems the objective is to feature the other guy. So at the same time, I'm sure they want to do the best that they can to shine and show what they can do. Now, Jake, when you watch a Jake St. Patrick match, you watch it for that drop kick, and he hits it immediately.
Yes, he got what he needed in.
Yeah, exactly.
I told Jake, I said, Jake, make sure you just kick him in the head once or twice in the face. Jake does that great running kick, and it's stiff. I've taken it, take a big boot to the head, and he wasn't able to do it this time. But hopefully next week he gets to do that running, big kick that he does. So
yeah,
and he does the drop kick. It's funny because I'll tell you something Fonzie told me, and I think he told the same thing to Matt Justice is, don't kill your gimmick, kid. Don't go on AEW and you look like trash, kid. Don't do it, kid. It's like, okay, thanks, Fonzie. I'm gonna tell the second biggest company in the world, like, nah, it's okay. I gotta protect the gimmick, But I don't know. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And a guy like Matthew Justice, who I think, like, obviously, the WWE was interested in him there's that rumor online that like Triple H literally called him, I guess, and he said like, I'm just not interested in your company and what you're doing, which is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know any wrestlers, maybe Brian Pillman, like who really have said stuff like that to major companies, but any other wrestler in the world, of course, if WWE wants to call and feature you, got to do it. And if that means you're going to go and lose 100 times on television, just do it. Like people like complain about things like Matt Ryder, Zack Ryder, and Brian Myers, I forget his name at the time. And it's like, oh, they lose. Man, they're having the time of their lives. They're getting paid to go and wrestle and on the biggest company in the world. So, if somebody calls me to put over Hook 100 times on television, I'm there taking the Hook plex if they're going to have an exploder. Sorry, Fonzie. So Fonzie won't hear this, but sorry, Daddy.
Yeah. So we've talked about Bash in the Brew. We talked about Enter the Machine in Nashville. It keeps going. You're coming. I'm in Port St. Lucie. You're coming here March 19th.
Yes.
And we got our hometown guy, the Bus. He's going to be taking on Johnny Walker.
And Beastman. I met Beastman at the Nawa show. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he was so interesting. He knocked me out, man. 400 pounds. I think it's a great matchup. Like I could see great matchups with him and Vince Steele. I can see great matchups with him and Vinicius. I can see great matches with him and Agony. So I was like, this guy's got to be, and he's awesome. He is, he's just one of those guys who are down. You meet some guys in wrestling and they're like, oh, well, hours is it? He's in West Virginia. He's like, oh, that's only 18 hours. That's no problem. I can drive in for the weekend. No problem. Like, awesome. Okay, it's only 18 hours, Beastman. So I love it. So he'll be there, and he's awesome. Who else? Super Crazy. Look, that's a big announcement here. Super Crazy. He was able to get out of Mexico because he had some. She doesn't like Super Crazy. Sorry, Francisco. No, she loves Super Crazy. She's just being a little funny. So Super Crazy is out of Mexico, so obviously he is available. So he'll be at that show in Port St. Lucie, and then he'll be in. That's a huge announcement. And then he will be at Anniversary 17, which is going to be awesome, and he's going to have a huge featured role there. I'm not going to tell exactly what it is because it might spoil it. Might spoil a couple matches coming up, but he's going to be in a great role in that match. That's a match you want to see. Look, we're having our first ever women's ladder match. I mean, it's kind of broken. It's kind of not broken. The CCW executive committee has put it under wraps, but Roma will defend the CCW Women's Championship at Anniversary 17, and it will be a ladder match. Obviously, Marina Tucker has a lot of things to say about it. Sure. Will it be her and Marina? Yes. Will it be her, Marina, and La Brava? Who knows? Will Christy Janes, depending on what she does in Nashville, be put into that match? You can imagine a 4-way women's ladder match with Christy Janes, Marina Tucker, La Brava, and Roma. That might be best for business, but Marina's saying me and Roma is the unfinished business. That needs to be the one-on-one match. So who knows what happens?
And that's on the anniversary show? That's
on Anniversary 17. We're going to have a hair versus hair match. That's going to be interesting. No. So Brutus, the barber, Beefcake will be there. Okay. He'll be there with the big scissors and somebody's getting their hair chopped off. And then we have a huge cage match that we're going to be announcing soon. And I think once some of these shows come together, you're going to see what those matches are going to be, but I'm not going to announce who's going to be in it, but I'll announce what it is. And then of course, the South American Alliance, if they're still tag team champions on Anniversary 17, because they have multiple defenses before that. This is going to be huge. We have former WWE World Tag Team Champions facing them on Anniversary 17. A couple guys who really like to rock, a couple guys who really like to party a little bit, and a couple of guys who really like to bang their heads. So Bill Alfonso, Vinicius, and Ariel, if they're still the tag team champions on March 20th at Extreme Action Park in Fort Lauderdale, they'll be wrestling the Headbangers, Thrasher, and Mosh for those titles. So just that, just go buy your ticket right now, buy the meet and greets, buy whatever. She's telling you, buy it, steal a car, and come to if you're within driving distance, come. If you're within a driving distance, you don't have a car, steal one and bring it to Extreme Action Park. And the night before is going to be awesome too. You're going to see a lot of stuff. Sebastian Cage is going to be on both of those shows as well. It's going to be stacked, and tickets are flying right away. Considering it's like a month and 3 weeks away, tickets are flying for these shows. The Nashville tickets are crazy. So okay, I'm just promoting, baby. So definitely buy that.
Well, I mean, she's looking at that saying, okay, I got a ladder match, I got a hair match, I got a cage.
She's like, what about me? She was worried about the hair match.
All this at Extreme Action Park.
Yeah, she wants to go and play with the go-karts in Extreme Action Park is what she wants.
Yeah, don't blame her. Don't blame her. Well, we've kind of knocked everything on my list out here, but I have some rapid fire type questions for you.
Let's do it.
Okay, first, what is a stereotype or stigma within wrestling that the world or community needs to drop?
Okay, so lately everybody's talking about how wrestlers just want to play video games and they're millennials and that they go wrestle their match and smoke a weed vape, and I'm telling you that's completely wrong. We still do steroids, we still do cocaine, we still go out with women, we still have guns and knives in our bags. So that stigma of wrestlers being soft better stop right away. Okay, we are on heavy drugs over here. Okay, jeez, this that we're just soft video. No. We still have guns and knives in our bags, Undertaker. You got to come down to CCW. We have Sandman coming in. You can ask him. We're the toughest promotion around, right? You can ask my daughter. Tons of drugs on it now. As a stigma, it is funny now how the stigma has changed so much that it's like, oh, they just play video games and smoke weed. And then it's true, Undertaker. I mean, I obviously am not old enough to have been part of that, but there is something mystique about what Undertaker said. But yeah, that would be the stigma is that wrestlers are wimps nowadays. No, I mean tell that to Santos. Santos works for the Department of Defense, and he's that's on his shoot job, and he's tougher than anybody that I know. Like he'll beat someone up for real. Stigma to stop.
Is there so next rapid fire question. Is there someone you've worked with in wrestling that most inspires your creative process?
Okay, creatively. Wow, creatively. Jackal is a creative machine. There's a kid that is wonderful who is writing this thing called CCW magazine. His name's Sorry, okay, I'm not gonna put anybody over anymore. His name's Thomas Holmes. And he is really, really smart. Like he is really on his game in terms of like what he's doing. Like he is fleshing out storylines with the printed word that I've been putting together in my head, and I love it. And so he's actually helped me flesh out my own storylines without like like when you're a shortstop and you throw a ball to the second baseman to turn two, and the second, like you just flip it there, and the second baseman bare hands it and throws it to first. Yeah. That's how Thomas Holmes is. I'm like, man, he came up with great, intricate details about what Johnny Walker does on his day off. And I'm not thinking about it. I don't care what Walker does on his day off, but like, he's doing a great job. So he is helping me a lot. Obviously, the guy who trained me, my mentor, Pablo Marquez, he has in terms of creativity, his creativity is so like the era that he's from, that early 90s professional wrestling. And I love that era too. So sometimes he would pitch an idea and I'd be like, Coach, like that's so like early 1990s wrestling, mm-hmm. But it would work. Most of the time it would work. So, the realization is that, yeah, like wrestling has changed. Like wrestling is like completely different, like it's the wrestling itself, but the storylines are all the same. And then Dan Ackerman, my business partner, he's a great finish man. So like, sometimes his finishes will be a little too intricate, and he's been a tag team wrestler for like early 90s. Like he wrestled in Memphis and ECW and all these places. So sometimes he has these like intricate finishes that I'm just looking at him. I'm like, just clothesline, sunset flip. Like, let's get out of here. But, and sometimes our own wrestlers can't do the finishes, but he is a great finish guy. So those are the guys, that like I'll put together the overarching storylines. And then you need those guys. You need Dan Ackermans, and you need Thomas Holmes, and then guys like Jackal. Bugs too is incredibly creative. And then he's not with us really anymore, but Striker Ramirez, former champion, I know he's working and he's taking care of his family and he's doing a lot of stuff, but he has always had very interesting ideas. And he's the type of guy that if you give him a bad idea, he'll tell you, but he'll also have another idea waiting, like, sure, sure, I've given guys bad ideas before, and they're like, well, I don't like it. And a lot of times the next answer is like, well, that's tough. You know what I mean? It's because it's nothing you're going to do about it. But a guy who comes back at you with a great idea that's better than yours, baby, that's better than yours, then you definitely respect that. And a lot of times Stryker had a better idea than what we brought to.
Oh, good. Okay, three more here.
Lay it on me.
What's different about CCW 1 year from now?
1 year from now, you're going to see it feel even more like a territory. You're going to see through either our own provider or something else, for super shows that we're going to offer in a very affordable $7.99 to $9.99 price range. You're going to see some smaller iPay-per-views that you can buy for $1.99 to $2.99, and you're going to see a company that is running consistently. You're going to see Alive Wrestling expanded. You're going to see Alive Wrestling on some different providers. And you're going to see hopefully some of the talent who are working right now, working in big companies, and you're going to see new talent. They're going to need to be replaced, whether it's me bringing Sandman every month because, Jake St. Patrick's working in All Elite Wrestling and Ariel's gone and whatnot. Or you're going to see some of these young guys like Chris Farrow, Santana. Who else is really good? Nick Turner is so good. Miami Mike is so good. These guys are just like salt of the earth guys who will be part of CCW for a long time. And then, so if guys leave, if Alex Ocean does go to All Elite Wrestling or wherever, if a major company decides to start doing death matches frequently, then you're going to see some new people, but you're going to see some awesome wrestling still in a year from now.
And you mentioned Nick Turner and Miami Mike. They actually had a match on Alive 119.
Yes.
Last week, so.
Yeah, this last week. It was really good. Nick's really good. Nick is, one of those guys who my trainer used to do this thing where it's like when it's a guy's first day, they would go over like one or two little small things. And then, little things, right? Look at what a front roll is and all this stuff. And then he'll grab a guy and he'll shoot him off the rope and he'll be like back body drop. And he'll go to back body drop the guy. And so 70% of the people just go like, I don't know what's happening. You know what I mean? Like they freak out, and that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to say, hey, you're supposed to have instincts. You're supposed to have watched wrestling. So, you don't know how to do a back body drop, but you kind of know as a kid, you kind of see how they come, how they post on the shoulder, how they go over. And that Nick Turner's the guy who will just hit the rope, even he'd never learned, and he'll go right to a back body drop because he knows professional wrestling. So that's the type of guys that you want to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are the guys who are going to be, future stars in CCW, and hopefully the guys that we have now as stars are working in bigger companies, and then they're coming back and all that type of good stuff. So that's what I envision for a year from now. Hopefully Ariel's in the WWE, and Jake is in All Elite Wrestling, and Jackal's on NXT or whatever. Hopefully that's what happens.
If you could book Will Austin in.
And Will is not just in Puerto Rico. Will should have been in NXT a couple of years ago. Maybe now he's going to wake up and, realize professional wrestling is not just the actual wrestling. You actually have to, you have to network. You have to call. You have to politic. You have to, when you get one of the contacts, in the WWE, you need to follow up with an email. You need to tell them who you are. You need to become their friend. Oh my God. You need to drive to Orlando and you need to go to a charity event that they're at. Those are the type of things that, the professional wrestlers don't understand. I think Will finally gets it because now he's in WWC. He's doing some things. So yeah, Will Austin should be signed. It should be on NXT next year, but it's up to him. It's up to you, Will.
If you could book him against anybody in the history of wrestling, who would you book him against for the best match?
Man, that's great. I would book him for a match against Ric Flair because I love Ric Flair. Okay, I'm sorry, not Ric Flair. I would say because my daughter doesn't. Will, and if you want one of those matches, I would say a guy like Jerry Lynn, a guy like Rob Van Dam. Rob Van Dam's still a possibility.
Yeah, that's true.
Stay tuned. He's very friendly with the CCW training facility. He's been to the CCW training facility before. Unfortunately, he's incredibly expensive. But Rob Van Dam versus Will Austin. Rob Van Dam in his prime versus Will Austin would be a wonderful match. Yeah. But you saw Sebastian Cage and Will Austin. That was awesome. Bam Bam Bigelow versus Will Austin. Vinicius versus Will Austin. So I just want to see how far Vinicius can throw Will Austin. It's good that Will can jump into the fourth row, but let's see if Vinicius can throw him into the fifth row, So we'll see. Who would you book Will Austin against? Who's a good match you think Will versus somebody?
Ricky Steamboat comes to mind. Right
I was thinking the same thing. Flair, Steamboat, Savage.
Yeah.
All those guys. So
same question about Vinicius.
Man, so with Vinicius, it's hard because he's a monster and he's uncontrollable. Ever of all time, it would be Vinicius and Vader. There's right here is a signed Vader picture that Vinicius he gave to me, and obviously she's like just say Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant's the official bouncer of Minutes to Belltime Studios.
I love it.
Head right here.
So I would say Vader versus Vinicius, Bam Bam Bigelow versus Vinicius, and then someone near and dear to his heart, someone that I actually produced in a film now. But the person that I grew up that got me in love with wrestling, my first person that was like, it wasn't Hulk Hogan, I was like right at the end. I'm a little too young for the Hulk Hogan thing. I remembered the 93 Yokozuna thing. I remember the red and yellow, but my Hogan is really the 96 Hogan. When I came into this thing, and at the same time, the best wrestler in the world was, and probably the best wrestler ever was Bret Hart. So if it's Bret Hart versus Vinicius match, it would be like a second round of a King of the Ring, tournament, where Bret just would shine, or, a match in Europe. I would love, it would be a dream to have a match with Bret Hart. And I produced one of his, as an associate producer in one of his films. So I got to finally rub up with the Hitman. So hopefully you'll see the Hitman in South Florida.
There you go. Eventually. All right. Well, thank you so much. I know we went over time a little bit here, but
no. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. This is my daughter's first video podcast, so she's excited.
She's great.
She's great. She's a future Charlotte Flair, Tessa Blanchard. Well, maybe hopefully more Charlotte than Tessa, but she's gonna be. Actually, it's funny because you look at your child and you're like, do I want her to be in the business? It's so difficult to be a female in the business. It's difficult enough to be a guy in the business. So, but it'd be cool to see her win a championship, even if it's a CCW Women's Championship or whatever, But thank you so much. Check out Alive Wrestling every Tuesday night. Ryan, I don't care what you say. I'm gonna be back. I know that you don't want me on this thing. I know what's up, but I will be back.
Always.
We have so many shows coming up, and Ryan, you have to come. And
absolutely,
all of our wrestlers. Cha-Cha Charlie's a great interview. Will's a great interview. Johnny Walker. One more thing I wanted to say is Bryce. We have a charity. It's Bryce Strong. I'm gonna send the GoFundMe link. And it's a 2-year-old wrestling fan with leukemia, and we just spoke to him last Wednesday from the Wrestling Rewind radio, and oh my God, it broke my heart. The kid was John Cena in October for Halloween, and he's the cutest kid in the world, and he's dealing with leukemia, and there's still a chance that he can fight through this, that he can kick out of it, because they luckily found it a little earlier than they would have been able to find it. But he's going through the chemotherapy and stuff, so we're raising money for Bryce, and we're going to be doing that throughout the whole year. And he's an awesome kid, so I'll put that on the link. But Johnny Walker came on to the to speak with Bryce, and I was so deathly afraid, because Johnny Walker does not break kayfabe for anybody. And it was a masterpiece watching him circumvent the waters and still be so nice and respectful to Bryce. He had us all dying laughing. So you need to have Johnny Walker on here. He is just something else. And then the whole CCW roster is great. But anything that Ryan, thank you so much. Anything that you need from us, call me for those tickets, because I don't want you buying tickets anymore. You come in and you come in on us because you're one of the team, okay? And I'm not buttering you up because you're the press. You're a nice guy.
All right, I'm going to tell some people about a few things here before I get out of here. We got some things going on around the network. Joey Jarzanka, Ian Schreier, Rob DeLuca, every Friday night, they do the primetime rundown. They run you through the world of sports. Show kicks off at 6 p.m. on the Eastern Observer. And then I will be back in the hosting position of the Essential Wrestling Podcast tomorrow night, episode number 39. That goes on at 6 o'clock. We have John Smith, John DeConnie, Garrett Mahaffey, other people that have been on co-hosting this show with me. So that is 6 p.m. tomorrow on the Eastern Observer. And then this show, the Daily Wrestling News Show, returns tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. with Travis, who asked that good FTW title question a little bit earlier ago. So
thanks, Travis.
Yeah.
Travis, when we bring Cage in to Fort Lauderdale, when we bring Cage in probably in April in Fort Lauderdale, I want you to ask it to his face. Cage is so intense, man. Brian Cage he's really intense. He's a really, really cool guy, but ask him. He has some opinionated opinions on the FTW title and everything going on. So you got to ask him yourself, Travis. I'll make it happen.
There you go. All right. So for anything else before we get out?
No, thank you guys again so much. Anniversary 17, March 20th. St. Lucie Showdown the 19th. Bash of the Brew Part 2, March 6th. We have a cruiserweight tournament. I totally forgot. Super Crazy is an official announcement for Anniversary 17. Headbangers are official. They're going to be wrestling for the CCW Tag Team Championship the 17th. It's going to be a stacked card. I don't know how else we're going to get these people on here, but February 20th, you have Enter the Machine, and then a 64-man cruiserweight tournament to announce the first ever CCW cruiserweight champion. That's kicking off this week. Some matches already happened, some matches are happening, but you have guys like Jake St. Patrick who have already made it their well-intentions known that they are walking out of the largest field of wrestlers, cruiserweight or not, ever. 64 guys, single elimination. So check that out. You'll see that on a live, and you'll see that on its own social media.
That's awesome. 64-person tournament. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Your daughter's not going to be in that tournament.
No, not yet. Not yet. But she will one day. She'll be in the women's tournament. I'll give you a hint. She's going over.
Okay. All right. For Nelio, I'm Ryan. We will catch with everybody tomorrow.